Did you know that the biggest financial mistake you're making right now could be the reason you haven't achieved your financial freedom yet? It sounds heavy, doesn't it? But believe me, it's more common than you think. The truth is, many of us are sabotaging our own future without realizing it due to poor financial habits. Today, I'll show you what these mistakes are and how you can correct them to finally take full control of your financial life. But before anything else, we need to understand the problem. Why is it that despite all the effort, many people still can't prosper financially? Well, what's happening is that you might be making crucial mistakes and not even noticing it. Have you ever stopped to think about why, despite working hard, many people still can't save money or even earn well, but never seem to get out of the red? The reality is that many of us fall into financial traps that seem harmless, but in the long run, can destroy any chance of prosperity. I know it can be hard to realize this when we're caught up in the daily grind, paying bills, meeting tight deadlines, and wanting to live in the moment. But if you keep letting these mistakes slip by unnoticed, you'll end up compromising your financial future and perhaps even your family's. The problem is not earning money. The problem is how you manage it. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. The mistakes that are robbing your future and how you can start correcting them right now. Now that you understand how these mistakes can affect your financial life, let's take a closer look at what these mistakes are and, of course, how you can avoid falling into them. So, what are the financial mistakes that are holding back your progress? Today, we'll address 4 major issues: living beyond your means, getting into debt to buy unnecessary things, leaving money sitting idle, and finally, not planning for the future. These are common mistakes, but extremely harmful in the long run. The good news is that each one has a simple solution, and I want to show you how you can start correcting these habits today to finally take control of your financial life. Now that you know what these mistakes are, let's start our journey by correcting the first one: living beyond your means. Have you ever found yourself buying things you can't afford or going to fancy restaurants and vacations just to impress others? This is a mistake many people make without realizing it. Living beyond your means, the pursuit of social status and trying to show a life that, in reality, you can't afford, is a financial trap. I'm not saying you can't have a comfortable life or even luxury, but this needs to come after ensuring your financial stability. If you spend more than you earn, your financial freedom will be compromised. The solution is simple: control your spending and live within your real means. The first step is to create a monthly budget and stick to it. This will help you see where your money is going and where you can cut unnecessary expenses. By reducing needless spending, you begin to create a solid foundation for your future. For instance, do you find yourself buying a new car or taking that extravagant vacation when you can barely pay the bills at the end of the month? It's easy to get caught up in the lifestyle that social media promotes or even your own desires for status. But the truth is, as long as you're living beyond your means, you're setting yourself up for financial struggle. You need to ask yourself, am I living the life I want now, or am I securing the life I want in the future? Now that you know how to control your spending and live within your budget, let's talk about an even more serious mistake: getting into debt to buy unnecessary things. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest financial mistakes many people make: using credit to buy things that aren't really necessary. Have you ever used your credit card or taken out a loan to purchase something that wasn't essential? If your answer is yes, you're not alone. This is a mistake as common as it is dangerous. The problem is that by doing this, you create a vicious cycle of debt. When you buy on credit, you delay payment, but you also accumulate extremely high interest rates. These interest rates become a snowball, and what was a 100 Brazilian reals purchase can easily turn into a 300 Brazilian reals, 400 Brazilian reals, or even more, depending on your interest rate. This not only compromises your financial health in the short term, but also prevents you from investing and building wealth. Debt can feel like a small inconvenience at first, but over time, it grows exponentially. Imagine buying a pair of shoes that cost you 200 Brazilian reals, but with interest, you end up paying 600 Brazilian reals over time. Suddenly, that small purchase has cost you 3 times more than you originally intended, and you're stuck paying for something you don't even remember buying. That's the power of compound interest working against you. The solution: avoid using credit to finance momentary desires. If you really need something, save up and pay in cash. And if you have to use credit, control your installment amounts and never, ever miss the minimum payment. Discipline in using credit will ensure you don't fall into the debt trap. Now that you know how to avoid debt from consumption, let's move on to the next mistake: letting your money sit idle and not investing. Another financial mistake that many people make, and that is crucial to fix, is leaving money sitting idle. When you don't invest your money, you're actually missing out on a great opportunity. And the reason for this is simple: inflation. Every year, inflation erodes the purchasing power of your currency. In other words, if you leave your money in a savings account or under the mattress, you'll lose purchasing power over time. And here's the big mistake. You're not just missing out on gains with your money, you're actually losing. The secret to building wealth is to make your money work for you. Even if you start small, the important thing is to start. The solution is simple. Start investing as soon as possible. You don't need to be a finance expert to do this. Investment funds, government bonds, even stocks are accessible ways for anyone to begin. Open an account with a brokerage, start with low-risk investments, and gradually increase your investments as you gain confidence and knowledge. Don't wait any longer. Time is your biggest ally when it comes to investing. The key to wealth building isn't just about saving. It's about growing that savings through strategic investments. Many people don't realize how much they're losing out on by not investing. A 1,000 Brazilian real saved today could be worth far less in the future if you leave it in a low-interest savings account. But if you invest it wisely, it could grow exponentially. Now that you understand the importance of making your money work for you, let's talk about the last mistake: failing to plan for the future and living only for the present. Last but not least, many people make the mistake of not planning for the future. We live in a world where instant gratification reigns, and often we get so focused on satisfying our present desires that we forget to look ahead to what awaits us tomorrow. This applies to retirement, big life goals like buying a house or funding your children's education. We tend to put off planning for the future because it seems too far away, or we believe we'll deal with it later. But the truth is, the earlier you start planning for your future, the more options and flexibility you'll have. If you don't create a long-term financial plan, the chances of worrying in the future are huge. The problem is that when the future comes, you find yourself without resources to face the needs and goals you could have achieved if you had started planning earlier. The solution here is simple but powerful. Start planning now. Set your financial goals for the future, whether it's retirement, building an emergency fund, or fulfilling big dreams. Investing with a long-term focus and making periodic adjustments to your plan are the best ways to ensure a more peaceful and secure future. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. This is the magic of compounding, and it's one of the most powerful tools for building wealth. So set your sights on long-term goals and take action today to make them a reality. Now that you know how to plan for the future and avoid this mistake, let's reflect a little on everything we've discussed so far and how this can impact your financial life. Now that you know the most common mistakes that sabotage your financial freedom, it's time to reflect. What will you do with this information? Each of these mistakes can be corrected, and most importantly, change starts with small daily actions. The future doesn't have to be a burden, and you don't need to wait any longer to start doing things the right way. Remember that every day you delay is a day you lose the opportunity to change your financial life. What you do now will directly impact your future. The sooner you start applying these changes, the faster you will see results. Don't wait until tomorrow to start acting. Every step, no matter how small, counts. The key to achieving true financial freedom is taking control of your financial life, and that starts with conscious decisions in the present. Now that you know what needs to be done, let's wrap up with one last reminder about the importance of taking immediate action. It's up to you now. Which of these financial mistakes will you start correcting today? I want to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below telling me what action you'll take to change your financial life. Like this video if it was useful for you, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any valuable tips on finances, investments, and financial mindset. Share it with a friend who also needs this advice. Remember, the journey to financial freedom begins with one first step. It doesn't matter if that step is small. What matters is that you start. You have the power to change your financial situation now. Don't wait any longer. The time to act is now. And finally, I want to leave you with a quote to inspire you. True wealth isn't in what you earn, but in what you build over time. Start today, and your future will be much more prosperous. See you in the next video.